has adopted submissive service attitude. All power is obtained from the Lord. Therefore, each particular power must be utilized to execute the will of the Lord and not otherwise. The Lord can be known by one who has adopted such a submissive service attitude. Perfect knowledge means knowing the Lord in all his features, knowing his potencies, and knowing how these potencies work by his will. These matters are described by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all Upanishads.
Yes. Vivida eva shruyate swabhaviki bala kriyacha. So that is the meaning of this word. What Prabhupada is giving the secret here? When you become submissive, you understand this logic of what? Perfect knowledge. And what is that perfect knowledge? Perfect knowledge means what is the result of submission? Submissively approaching a spiritual master, tadvidhi pranipatena परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानिनास तत्वदर्शिनः. What is tattvadarshina? Is being told here. Tattvadarshina means what is that knowledge? Perfect knowledge from spiritual master. Knowing the Lord in all his features, knowing his potencies, and knowing how these potencies work by his will. And Prabhupada is explaining all these things in his purport. Lord is energies are internal, external, marginal. And how these potencies work? These potencies work by his will. They are not, Lord is subjected to these potencies. Lord is not Maya Dish. He is not Maya Vash. He is Maya Dish. And therefore, these potencies work by his will. Like when you have a itch, you take a hand and itch, and you're not even thinking while hearing the class. Or if I'm not even thinking while speaking, automatically I'm trying to do like this, I'm trying to do like this, I'm trying to do like this. But it's swabhaviki for me. Similarly, these energies, swabhavikally, automatically, by the will of the Lord, they manifest. And what is the third part? First part, which Prabhupada is speaking here, all his features. What are the different features of the Lord? What do you mean? There Prabhupada is writing, right? Perfect knowledge means knowing the Lord in all his features, knowing his potencies, and knowing how these potencies work. Prabhupada has spoken about potencies here and how it works. Prabhupada is speaking here by his will. And what are the different features of the Lord? Vadanti tattva vidastatvam yajnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdate. So when you understand that Lord is spread everywhere, the same personality, Krishna, his effulgence is Brahman. Through the Brahman effulgence, like fire is there. Fire through heat and light is spread everywhere. So Krishna is simultaneously everywhere at the same time is in Goloka. You may say, hi. For our understanding, I can't tell Sadhu Sangh Chaitanya Prabhu sitting in my class here. And also is in Jeev, they are sitting there. You'll think, are you crazy? He is not a double role player. You know, this is not a double role movie of Bollywood. Or he doesn't have the twin. But when it comes to Krishna, he can do this. This is called as inconceivable potency because Krishna has three features. As Bhagavan, he is sitting in Goloka. As Paramatma, he is spread everywhere in all the atoms of the universe. And to the Brahman feature, through his energies, he has spread all throughout the cosmic manifestation. So when you understand these three things, the same person is Brahman, same person is Paramatma, and same person is Bhagavan. Only thing, like an example of train Prabhupada gives, some people see it as a light, some people see it as a square box, some people see that it is a having nice, wonderful compartments with so much of variety, so many people sitting inside, something is air conditioned, something is general compartment, people are eating, they are sleeping, and so much variety is there. So similarly, that Lord, when you speak about Supreme, Isha, he has his three features. The same person, but some come to the level of understanding Jnana through Jnani, Brahma, the Ashtanga Yogi, Paramatma, and the Bhakta to the Bhagavan feature. Why this line I've highlighted in blue? Because this point which Prabhupada is trying to mention here, that Lord is having three features. Therefore, everything is, and Lord having three potencies, internal, marginal, external. Till the time we are in external energy, marginal means we can be either under internal energy, either under the external energy. Till the time we are in external energy, even if we become demigods, we cannot understand him. But even if you're not a demigod, hmm, It's better to become a sincere street reaper than charlatan and meditator. That means even whatever it is, you are not very rich, simple housewife, but she humbly and meekly accepts Lord's supremacy, cooks bhoga for him, and tries to offer it. She can understand because she is taking part of bhakti. She has taken shelter of the internal potency of the Lord. So one cannot on his own try by mental speculation understand God. That is greatness. But the same God, because of being taking shelter of the internal potency, he approaches you because everybody has his weakness. Such a great Lord has his weakness. What is that? Bhakti. Bhakti is the weakness of the Lord. But if that is the case, the next mantra, tad daijati, tannaijati, tad dure, tad vantike, tad antarasya, sarvasya, taddu sarvasyasya bhayata. If I say, Sadhu Singh Chaitanya Prabhu or Sudhanshu Prabhu sitting here also, and is sitting in their office also, it's not possible. But because Lord has these three features, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, Taddaijati, Tannaijati. He walks, he doesn't walk. He walks as the Bhagavan feature, Nandanandan, Yashodanandan, as Brahman, he doesn't walk. Understand, na? Tad Dure, as Bhagavan is very far in Goloka, Tad Vantike, as Paramatma, or as Brahman, everywhere is spread. Understood, na? So this is the connection of mantra 4 to mantra 5. These features Lord is having all these features. So this brings us to the next shloka. We'll go to the next shloka now. So therefore, this is little technical, Ishopanishad. But if you understand Bacharya's commentaries, the connection, then it becomes very easy. Otherwise, if you just read it, you will know क्या हो रहा है, क्या चल रहा है. जैसे क्वेश्चन आस्क, अभी भगवान बोले, भगवान के बाद तुरंत इतना हाई फिलोसफी क्यों है महाभागवत का विजन का. It is not speaking about high vision of Mahabhagavat, but Mahabhagavat is able to see Lord as great. Hmm. Yes, I'll just pull out this mantra 5. And online devotees, if you miss out online with some other browsing, you'll miss the connection and you'll miss the flow. Hmm. So little bit inattention. How to resolve that contradiction? That contradiction gets resolved in Lord Himself, nobody else. Tadde jati tannai jati tadhure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya तदु सर्वस्यस्य भायतः तद्देजति तन्नैजति तद्धूरे तद्वन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्यस्य भायतः. So devotees can recite online, offline, whoever is ready, having mic. Online devotees can go ahead till the time mic reaches devotees here.
तद्दे जति तन्ने जति
तद्दे जति तन्नै जति
तद्धूरे तदवन्तिके
तद्धूरे तद्वन्तिके
तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य
तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य
तदु सर्वस्यास्य बाह्यतः
तदु सर्वस्य बाह्यतः
तद्दे जति तन्ने जति
तद्दे जति तन्नै जति
तद्दूरे तद्वन्तिके
दूरे तद्वन्तिके
तद् अनन्तरस्य सर्वस्य
तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य
तद्यु सर्वस्य बाह्यतः.
तदु सर्वस्य बाह्यतः. So we'll go to word to word meaning. Tat, this Supreme Lord, ejati, Tat is a neutral gender, but Prabhupada is translating because he is devotee. Prabhupada has given the secret. Lord in all features, Lord in all potencies, and how his potencies work. Therefore, he is able to tell this Tat is not Tat, it is not it, it is Supreme Lord. Ejati walks, Tat, he, na, not. Ejati walks, Tat, he, dure, far away. Tat, he, who also. Antike, very near. Tat, he, antah, within. Asya, of this. Sarvasya, of all that. Tat, he, who also. Sarvasya, of all. Asya, of this. Bhayatah, external to. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. The Supreme Lord walks. What is in bracket? As Bhagavan. And does not walk. Paramatma or Brahman doesn't walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything as Paramatma, and he is yet outside of everything as Virat Rupa. So Madhvacharya writes in his commentary for this shloka, Tad Dure Tadvantike, he quotes Prahlad Maharaj's story from Bhagavatam. For Hiranyakashipu, that Lord was very far. But Prahlad Maharaj, because he was a devotee, he was very near. So for a devotee who has taken shelter of internal energy, Lord is very near. Also sitting in Goloka, but the same Lord manifested Radha Vrindavan Chandra in front of our eyes to bless us. So Tad Dure Tad Vantike is based on Paran Mukehi Govindaha. Somebody's Paran Mukha or Unmukha is very far. But somebody is favorable disposed to him, that Govinda becomes very near. This is the Shruti mantra which Madhvacharya quotes in his commentary for this, substantiating what this far away and very near. It's based on consciousness. If you are a devotee, he is very near. If you are not a devotee, if you are a jnani, if you are a Mayavadi, if you are somebody, then he is very far. He'll just cover your thought process and tell, okay, keep on beating the bush. Yes. Okay. We'll continue the purport. So how Prabhupada approaches his purport? Flow. Contradiction. He's doing, he's not doing. How can one person do the same thing like if I tell about Ajay Prabhu? He's not, he's sitting and hearing here. At the same time, he's sleeping also in the room. Same person doing two opposite things. Not possible. Because we are mundane. But Lord can do that because he has inconceivable potencies, inconceivable features, and he is having different features of the Lord. Therefore, there's contradictions. Nothing there. That is contradiction. But only God can do that contradiction resolved because of his unlimited potencies, unlimited energies, and unlimited energies working by his will and unlimited features. So, how to see this contradiction? Uh, so, Prabhupada begins with contradictions given here prove that Lord has inconceivable potencies. Without having inconceivable potencies, one person cannot do two things at the same time. That shows that Lord has inconceivable potencies, which is very difficult for Gyanis and Mayavadis to understand. So Gyanis and Mayavadis cannot understand it. Only Bhaktas can understand this thing that Lord is inconceivable because Lord is Bhagavan. Lord is a source of as a Paramatma and also Brahman. It is unlimited multifarious energies and everything is working by his will, which the last point of the last shloka which we've seen. This realization can be had only by a devotees, and therefore they can understand Lord being inconceivable. Otherwise, when Krishna comes and is trying to steal butter, the impersonalists or non-devotees cannot understand that he's Bhagavan coming here for the pleasure of his devotees to do Leela for attracting other living entities to take them back to Godhead. They can't understand because, like a person who can't understand this universe as a university and practicing bhakti as the goal of the universe, and is thinking, "Arey, work hard, earn some money, why a parasite?" Similarly, these people in general cannot understand the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Hmm? So then, if Lord has inconceivable potencies, contradiction shows that Lord has inconceivable potencies. Our contradictions get resolved in that Lord who has inconceivable potencies. So, what is the next thing then? Why Jiva's inability to conceive Lord's contradiction? I have told already. Because they think Lord to be mundane, or they make a mundane thing to be divine. So, Lord is inconceivable. Why Jivas cannot understand inconceivable potency of the Lord? Why some people become Gyani, some people become impersonalist, or some people become Mayavadis? Because they can equate Lord to be material and material thing to be God. That is inability of a Jivatma to conceive contradiction. So what is that? Two parts, Prabhupada writes. What are two reasons for not able to conceive the Lord's contradiction or accept Lord as Bhagavan? Why? They accept only the Lord's impersonal activities. For them, Lord means only Brahman. No Paramatma, no Bhagavan. That is one thing Prabhupada writes. Therefore, they reject their personal feature. That is one thing. And what is the second thing? And they make Lord to be impersonal and they make Lord to be mundane. Avajananti Mamuda. And he concludes Lord to be an ordinary human. And Krishna comes in this material world because they only think that Lord is having Brahman feature. Therefore, when Krishna comes, they think to be Brahman in mode of goodness becomes avatars. This is one of the Mayavadis arguments, which Baldev Dabhushan refuted it very nicely because it is not just Brahman. Brahman is the source of Brahmano hi Patishtanam. Brahman is the source of Krishna, is source of Brahman. How can Brahman become Krishna or avatars? No. So therefore, they think Brahman is everything, and that avatar is the part of Brahman, and that is material. So these are the two things because of which they conclude Lord to be. They can't understand Lord's inconceivable potency because ultimately they think so Supreme is Brahman. So how can Brahman walk? Understand? No? So that is a problem they have. There are two things Prabhupada mentions. So Prabhupada nullifies the above argument. Above arguments are nullified if you accept the existence of Lord's inconceivable potency. What is that inconceivable potency? Internal energy, marginal energy, external energy, and all these energies work by his will because he has three features: Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Only when you accept the Bhagavan feature, is the source of Paramatma and Brahman, you can accept the inconceivable potency. That is the solution Prabhupada gives. Till the time you don't come to that point, you cannot understand how then they understand Lord to be material. So how Lord through his inconceivable potency appears before his devotees in an approachable way to accept their service. So therefore, same Mayavadis, they condemn deity worship. They condemn when devotees, personalists, when the Vaidhi Bhaktas, they approach a Vigraha, they think that God is anyway impersonal. And even the avatars like your Krishna, Rama, they are anyway mundane. They are mundane people का मूर्ति बना के पूजा करने से क्या आपका होने वाला है? But they don't understand. Lord is in Golak Vrindavana along with all his five features. Archa has all the things. Archa has five expansions of the Lord in it. Therefore, it is very powerful to purify devotee. Hmm? So that Archa Vigra, which manifests in front of a Sadhaka Bhakta, is Lord himself in all his features, five features. He is a Lord himself, he is a Purusha avatar, and he is a Leela avatar, and he is a different features of the Lord which Archa has. Hmm? Prabhupada mentioned one purport. So Archa has these five features of the Lord, which by which the Archa is non-different from the Lord and much more merciful than the Lord because sinful people are people who are not completely purified. They cannot approach the Lord in Golokvrindavan directly, but they can approach the Archa and purify their anarthas and become accessible to the Lord. So Lord's Archa, Lord's holy name is much more merciful than the form of the Lord than Lord himself. Because by approaching that, the Jivatmas can purify their heart and approach the Lord directly for a period of time. Hmm? So therefore, uh, Lord, his inconceivable potency appears before his devotees in an approachable way to accept service. Because Lord has inconceivable potencies, he can approach as Archa. But the impersonalist will not be able to understand this. Tad dure tad vantike. He is far away, he is very near. For a devotee who depends on him to the degree of surrender, he is very near. But for the rebellious soul, he is very far. Then what is the part of play of inconceivable potency of the Lord? Sometimes people say Sagun, he is Nirgun. Sagun means the incarnation mode of goodness. He is Sagun, but Brahman is Nirgun. Okay, that incarnation is in three modes, but the Brahman is beyond three modes. Yeah, Brahman is Nirgun, but the incarnation also Nirgun. But because Mayavadis, they don't understand this concept. So Lord being Bhagavan, when he appears in this material world is full of three modes. But when Lord comes like a jailer coming inside the jail, he's controller. He is not the kaidi. He is not the victim. He is not the person who is committed blunder. Therefore, that resolves this Sagun Nirgun discussion of the Mayavadis. And then he reveals how he descends to favor his devotees. But the same Lord can appear to protect Prahlad Maharaj when Hiranyakashipu was about to kill him. And he descends in the pillar. And therefore, Lord being Bhagavan, he can manifest from any point because as Vishnu is spread everywhere. So in pillar also Vishnu is there in his Shivdakshayi feature. So he can just manifest from there, pop up. Therefore, when Krishna comes, he comes to the medium of Shivdakshayi Vishnu. So this verse resolves this contradiction also. His inconceivable potency. And at last, inside and outside. Outside is present as Virata form, inside as Antaryami. And as Antaryami, is a witness for all our activities, karma. And therefore, somebody is suffering, somebody is very rich. Why there is so much of duality? No, Lord is blind. You know, a young father and mother, they are alive, and in front of the young father and mother, a baby child is killed. Where is justice in this? So people try to find faults. They have done sinful activities, and somebody dies, Akala Mrityu, they think, Arey, Bhagwan ne kya kiya? They have done sinful activities past life, and some gadbad happens, Bhagwan ne kya kiya? But no, Prabhupada writes, because Lord is a witness, He's inside as Antaryami, He gives your karma phala. He's just His witness. Whatever you have done, He's just trying to give the reaction for that. He mentions in this purport. Oneness and difference resolves in personality of Godhead. He is one, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, Pradhan, Mahatattva, Jivatma, one because it is source of Lord, source of everything is Lord, different in terms of their hierarchy or configuration. The Pradhan is material, Jivatma is marginal, and the spiritual world is internal, and Lord is the controller of all three. He is Bhagavan, who is controlling everything. He is Shaktiman. He is Shakti, one is internal, one is external, and one is marginal. One in the sense that Lord is the source of everything, but different in the sense that He is not one of the part of the energies. He is not marginal, He is not internal, He is not external. In terms, when I'm telling He is not internal, He is a source of internal also. Okay? This is the conclusion of this Shruti mantra which we are trying to discuss. Fine. So shall we read the purport now? Quickly we'll try to complete this month today and then we'll conclude. Hare Krishna. Yes, please.
Purport. The contradiction given here prove the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Here is a description of some of the Supreme Lord's transcendental activities executed by his inconceivable potencies. The contradictions given here prove the inconceivable potency of the Lord. He walks and he doesn't walk. Ordinarily, if someone can walk, it is illogical to say he cannot walk. But in reference to God, such a contradiction simply serves to indicate his inconceivable power. With our limited fund of knowledge, we cannot accommodate such contradictions, and therefore we conceive of the Lord in terms of our limited powers of understanding. For example, the impersonalist philosophers of the Mayavadi schools accept only the Lord's impersonal activities and reject his personal feature. But the members of the Bhagavati school adopting the perfect conception of the Lord accept his inconceivable potency and thus understand that he is both personal and impersonal. The Bhagavatas know that without inconceivable potency, there can be no meaning to the words Supreme Lord.
Yeah, so Prabhupada speaks it very clearly. Mayavadis, they don't understand his features. Therefore, they reject his inconceivable potency. But devotees, they know him fully. He can do anything, everything. Like Brahmin cobbler story, which we hear in Sankalpa, Sankalpa. Lord has inconceivable potency. He can put the big banyan seed, big banyan tree in banyan seed. So why can't he thread elephant through the needle? That is devotee. But from material point of view, you can't understand it. That is the reason scholars have difficulty understanding the Shruti. It's not that Shruti is great and Smriti is inferior or Nyaya is very inferior. No, everything is same. Because everything is coming from Lord only. If the devotees coming in disciplic succession, he is presenting it, it is same. But indirectly, the Jnanis try to justify Shruti, 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 so that they can play around with it. Hmm? Yes, next.
Because of Jiva's inability to conceive Lord's contradiction, he accepts only the Lord's impersonal activities and rejects his personal features. We should not take it for granted that because we cannot see God with our eye, the Lord has no personal existence. Sri Upanishad refers this argument by declaring that the Lord is far away but very near also. The abode of the Lord is beyond the material sky, and we have no means to measure even this material sky. If the material sky extends so far, then what to speak of the spiritual sky, which is altogether beyond it? That the spiritual sky is situated far, far away from the material universe is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15.6. But despite the Lord's being so far away, he can at once, within less than a second, descend before us with a speed swifter, swifter than that of the mind or wind. He can also run so swiftly that no one can surpass him. This has already been described in previous verse.
Basically, they don't accept because of impersonal activities. Accept only Lord's impersonal activities and reject his personal feature. Therefore, they're not able to understand the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Yes. And then what happens? Second thing, they conclude Lord to be an ordinary mortal being. Yeah.
Yet, when the personality of Godhead comes before us, we neglect him. Such foolish negligence is condemned by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita 9.11, where he says that the foolish deride him, considering him a mortal being. He is not a mortal being, nor does he come before us with a body produced of material nature. There are many so-called scholars who contend that the Lord descends in a body made of matter just like an ordinary living being. Not knowing his inconceivable power, such foolish men place the Lord on an equal level with ordinary men.
So this we can see when Lord Krishna was present in front of Asat Sabha of Duryodhana. He wanted to kill him, thinking him to be material. So this is a foolishness. And many times when people hear Krishna and Balram, when they should not find butter in Vrindavan, they should pass stool and urine. So that stool and urine, what is this? It is like material stool and urine or spiritual stool and urine. Lord is inconceivable. Water is coming from him is pure. Like Rishabh is passing stool and urine. That is fragrance is going for 40 miles because he is incarnation. He is the Saktavasha avatar. So when Lord is doing all these pastimes, it is spiritual. Why? Because he has inconceivable potency. But the impersonalist, अरे कृष्ण बलराम भगवान बोलते हो जाके टट्टी कर रहे पेशाब कर रहे जब उनको नहीं मिल रहा है मतलब कि बटर को पीछे पड़े and they don't get butter, they're doing all these nonsense activities. How can they be God? Like Brahma himself got bewildered. He's so hungry for that buttermilk that from the mouth of Madhubangal is drinking it. What is this? Lord is Atmanam, but why so much mad behind this buttermilk? That means he's greedy or lusty for that buttermilk. He can't control his senses. What to speak of controlling whole people? He got bewildered. Understand, na? Therefore, people equate because Lord does his pastimes. That pastimes are under the part of internal energy. But when they don't understand, then they speculate him to be mundane. They superimpose their own thoughts on him. Yes.
The above arguments are nullified if we accept the existence of the Lord's inconceivable potencies. Because he is full of inconceivable potencies, God can accept our service through any sort of medium, and he can convert his different potencies according to his own will. Non-believers argue either that the Lord cannot incarnate himself at all, or that if he does, he descends in a form of material energy. These arguments are nullified if we accept the existence of the Lord's inconceivable potencies.
What is the meaning of inconceivable potency? Prabhupada writes in the first line. God can accept our service through any sort of medium, and he can convert his different potencies according to his own will. So, I have a question for all of you, online or offline devotees. Can you give an analogy which explains this? Yes? Yes. What is the analogy for explaining this? Lord can convert his own potencies at his will to perform any of his actions.
Electricity,
Prabhupada gives, yes, Prabhu.
electricity example now. That
Boli,
like
boli.
if the same electricity we can use it for refrigerating the things and as well as for heating the things. Depends upon the person for what purpose he wants the electricity.
It depends upon person.
Miss, who is using this electricity for what purpose he wants.
It depends upon the electrical engineer
Engineer, yeah.
who is manipulating it from the hydroelectric power station. Either you can use the electricity for heating in heat pump or air conditioning, or he can use it for cooling for refrigeration. If a same energy can be utilized for two purposes, dual purposes, why can't Lord, who is the source of that electric engineer, who is the source of Brahma, the source of immense potencies, can perform internal activities in the material world as well as material activities in spiritual world? For Lord, everything is same only, because electricity is same for electrical engineer. So whether Lord does material activities or spiritual activities, both are spiritual activities in one way. In fact, the matter is nothing but absence of Krishna. As Brahma says, anything very attractive, Chatushloki, second verse, anything is very attractive and you don't find Krishna in it, think to be Maya. But then Maya is what? It's absence of Krishna in the sense that it's shadow of Krishna. But that shadow also depends on Krishna only. Maya jinki chaya hai. That is what how it is. Therefore, this is what Prabhupada gives the analogy of electrical engineer trying to use electricity for heating and cooling. Therefore, Lord, this is the meaning of inconceivable potency means what? Three features, three energies, and Lord can swap anything from anywhere. Okay. Therefore, impersonalists cannot fathom this and they get bewildered when Lord does some pastimes which apparently appear to be mundane or materialistic. They can't fathom this. Yes, Prabhu, continue. You were at these arguments.
Then we will understand that even if the Lord appears before us in the form of material energy, it is quite possible for him to convert this energy into spiritual energy. Since the source of the energy is one and the same, the energy can be utilized according to the will of their source. For example, the Lord can appear in the form of Archa Vigraha, a deity supposedly made of earth, stone, or wood. Deity form, although engraved from the wood, stone, or other matter, are not idols, as the iconoclast contained.
Iconoclast means those who are against the deity worship. Many places indeed they disregard it to be statue and they tell what you are worshipping statue. They are the people who are like iconoclast. Therefore, why? Because they don't understand the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Therefore, everybody who is opposing Murti Puja, they are ignorant people. But Lord can manifest anywhere and convert matter into spirit, spirit into matter. Pradhan is coming from spirit, Mahavishnu. It is matter. But the same Pradhan from the same elements, Murti comes and Lord becomes deity. Matter becomes spirit, spirit becomes matter. This is inconceivable potency of the Lord, which Mayavadis cannot fathom because that requires little Bhakti Mukha Sukruti. Yes. Next.
How Lord, through his inconceivable potency, appears before his devotees in an approachable way to accept their service. In our present state of imperfect material existence, we cannot see the Supreme Lord due to imperfect vision. Yet, those devotees who want to see him by means of material vision are favored by the Lord, who appears in a so-called material form to accept his devotee's service.
It is mercy.
for purifying us. That is his console potency, yes. One should not think that such devotees who are in the lowest stage of devotional service are worshipping an idol. They are factually worshipping the Lord who has agreed to appear before them in an approachable way. Nor is the archa form fashioned according to the whims of the worshipper. This form is eternally existent with all paraphernalia. This can be actually felt by a sincere devotee, but not by an atheist. Yeah, because archa form is non-different from Bhagavan. Therefore, it is eternally existent. But therefore, when we go to temple and we see Radha Chandra, he is non-different. To the degree we have realized it, we will get benefited from it and we can get purified. And that is the reason the whole temple is revolving at it. Radha Chandra, the type of ghee is used, the type of temple has been made, the type of festivals have been celebrated. The center of our whole temple is Lord. And this is the glory of devotional service, that Acharyas have given us the greatest gift in the form of the deities, Shastras. And therefore Prabhupada told, if you don't hear the same Shaligram Shila, which is there for offering, we are meant to offer it. We'll take the same Shaligram Shila and close the curtain and break what? Cashew nuts and groundnuts to it. If you don't hear Shastras, or if you don't hear from a Guru, the Galagraha, Shaligram Graha will become what? Galagraha. This my spiritual master has given this burden to me. Therefore, hearing is so important. So now we are hearing this Bhagavatam not only here, when I teach Bhagavatam sections of Dhruv Maharaj, many sections, at least in one section of 6 chapters, this deity being non-different from Lord himself comes everywhere. And this is the most important factor for bringing us Vaidhi Sadhaka Bhakti to Bhava Bhakti platform. If we treat deity as material, then we'll treat devotee as material, we'll treat prasad as material, we'll treat everything as material, then we're just existing with devotees. Then where's the chance of advancement? No chance. And therefore, it's very important to hear from Prabhupada purports, hear from spiritual master, and try to live based on these principles that Lord is inconceivable, and therefore Lord is manifested as deity, Lord is manifesting as holy name, Lord is manifesting as prasad, not in the taste of prasad, but the potency of prasad to purify us. It's not only halwa prasad is prasad, Mahaprasad, and that chili prasad or sabji which we don't like is not Mahaprasad. It is prasad, but because Lord is inconceivable, therefore our approach to Lord's paraphernalia will differ, and that has a lot of potency for us to purify in our sadhaka stage. Therefore, it's very important for us to read Prabhupada books very carefully so that we can value thing according to its right value. The form is eternal existent, which cannot be known by atheist. Next, Tadure Tadvantike.
Tadure Tadvantike. He is far away as well as very near. In the Bhagavad Gita 4.11, the Lord says that how he treats his devotee depends on the devotee's degree of surrender. The Lord reserves the right not to reveal himself to anyone and everyone, but to show himself only to those souls who surrender unto him. Thus, for the surrendered soul, he is always within reach, whereas for the unsurrendered soul, he is far, far away and
Yes.
cannot be approached.
Oh, somebody's devotee, he is very near. Like Radha Vanshan is very near to us. Somebody is not devotee, Radha Vanshan Chandra is there, but they'll come and see, बहुत अच्छा स्टैचू बनाया उन्होंने, जो सेल्फी ले लेते हैं इसके साथ. तो इसीलिए एवरीथिंग, वो अच्छा सीलिंग लगाया, सब कुछ लगाया, लेकिन राधा वंशन को नहीं देखेंगे. Understand ना? That is how same Radha Vanshan Chandra. Play of inconceivable potency of the Lord. Matter into spirit, spirit into matter. How like the puppeteer or magician does magic. Similarly, Bhagavan does magic in the material world. If you want to show magic show, the room has to be dark. And then lights will be on. Then you can enjoy a movie or magic. Similarly, material world is very dark. And Krishna, through Mahavishnu as Purusha, through Pradhan, and through Pradhan, he expands on Mahatattva. Mahatattva and goodness is Mahatattva. Passion is Sutra Tattva. In ignorance is Ahankar. And Ahankar in goodness, passion, ignorance. Ahankar in goodness, demigods come and mind comes, global, universal mind. Ahankar in passion,
Global intelligence comes along with sa- Gyanendriya, Karmendriya. And Ahankara in ignorance comes Pancha Mahabhut and Tanmatras, sense objects. This is how he plays around. Matter into spirit, spirit into matter. But everything is Krishna's energies. Therefore, whatever is coming in this material world, if we can see the connection of Krishna, we can get liberated. But impersonalists cannot understand this magical trick of Krishna, how he's playing around with his inconceivable potencies. Okay? Yes, Prabhu, read. Next. Online devotees want to read or offline? We should ask.
Online.
Ujjwal Nirmal Prabhu is trying to read. Yes, Prabhu, read.
Resolves the contradiction of Saguna and Nirguna. In this connection, two words the revealed scriptures often apply to the Lord: Saguna, with qualities, and Nirguna, without qualities, are very important. The word Saguna does not imply that when the Lord appears with perceivable qualities, he must take on a material form and be subject to the laws of material nature. For him, there is no difference between the material and the spiritual energies because he is the source of all energies. As the controller of all energies, he cannot at any time be under their influence as we are. The material energy works according to his direction. Therefore, he can use that energy for his purposes without ever being influenced by any of the qualities of that energy. In this sense, he is nirguna, without qualities. Nor does the Lord becomes a formless entity at any time, for ultimately he is the eternal form, the primeval Lord. His impersonal aspect or a Brahman effulgence is but the glow of his personal rays, just as the sun rays are the glow of the sun god.
Yes, Sagun doesn't mean material form. Sagun means he has a form, but it is not subjected to three modes. And in that way, he is Nirgun. Nirgun means not affected by three modes. So both is Sagun and Nirgun. Sagun, he has a form, but his Nirgun is not affected by three modes. That is how it's resolved. Next. What happens by this inconceivable potency of the Lord? He reveals how he descends to favor his devotees to protect Prahlad Maharaj. Prabhupada quotes the pastime of Narsingh Dev and Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu.
When the child saint Prahlad Maharaj was in the presence of his atheist father, his father asked him, "Where is your God?" When Prahlad replied that God resides everywhere, the father angrily asked whether his God was within one of the pillars of the palace. And the child said yes. At once the atheist king shattered the pillar in front of him to pieces, and the Lord instantly appeared as Narsimha, the half man, half lion incarnation, and killed the atheist king. Thus, the Lord is within everything, and he creates everything by his different energies. Through his inconceivable powers, he can appear at any place in order to favor his sincere devotee. Lord Narasimha appeared from within the pillar not by the order of the atheist king, but by the wish of his devotee Prahlad. An atheist cannot order the Lord to appear, but the Lord will appear anywhere and everywhere to show mercy to his devotee. The Bhagavad Gita 4.8 similarly states that the Lord appears in order to vanquish non believers and protect believers. Of course, the Lord has sufficient energies and agents who can vanquish atheists, but it pleases him to personally favor a devotee. Therefore, he descends as an incarnation. Actually, he descends only to favor his devotees and not for any other purpose.
Yes, this only devotee can understand. Yes, next. Online devotees can read quickly.
Lord is outside as Virat, from the inside Virat form, and inside as Antaryami, witness to reward our karma phala. In the Brahma Samhita 5.35, it is said that Govinda, the primeval Lord, enters everything by his plenary portion. He enters the universe as well as all the atoms of the universe. He is outside in his Virat form and he is within everything as Antaryami. As Antaryami, he witnesses everything that is going on and he awards us the result of our actions as karma phala. We ourselves may forget what we have done in previous lives, but because the Lord witnesses our actions, the results of our actions are always there. and we have to undergo the reactions nonetheless.
So you can see the beauty of Prabhupada's purport. It is inside, outside. But Prabhupada became bringing out such application terms for devotees, practitioners. He is as a witness, he is inside, as Antaryami. We may forget what you have done in the past life, जो हम गड़बड़ करके आए या जो अच्छा करके आए. बट आफ्टर कमिंग यू थिंक अरे अच्छे लोगों के साथ बुरा क्यों होता है? क्योंकि जो अच्छे लोग हैं, जो बुरे लोग हैं, अभी अच्छे लोग हैं, वो इतने अच्छे नहीं है. को किसको पता है? परमात्मा को पता है. सो इन दैट डे लॉर्ड इज अ विटनेस एंड देयरफॉर कर्म आ रहा है बस. कर्म फल, लॉर्ड इज जस्ट सैंक्शनिंग दैट इन टाइम what we have done at a particular time, in time it comes. It's not that somebody has done something bad, it will come suddenly in the birth only. Sometimes it may come in birth, sometimes it may come after middle age, sometimes it may come at the time of death. Nobody can tell how it will come. So it is therefore it's called as karmana gahano gati. It's not very easy to understand how karma works, but still Lord becomes a witness and is silently observing and just sanctioning neutrally for the materialist. But for devotees, he becomes Bhagavan and guides them, but uses their sinful reaction to bring them close to him by giving some difficulties as an obstacles to pass the exam, to make them purified so that they can come closer to him more and more. Oneness and difference results in personality of Godhead. The fact is that there is nothing but God within and without. Everything is a manifestation of his different energies, like the heat and light emanating from a fire. And in this way, there is oneness among his diverse energies. Everything, the source of everything is himself. Therefore, he is one, but energies are different. Therefore, they are different. Achintya, Beda, Beda. Although there is oneness, however, the Lord in his personal form still enjoys unlimitedly all the pleasures enjoyed minutely by the tiny part and parcel. So, what is oneness? That is a question. That is the next verse. Ekatvam anupashyatah. This oneness is not a oneness of merging. This oneness is oneness of interest. The family, everybody is trying to promote the family. Kul Deepak, Kul ko aage badhana hai. Similarly, everybody in the family of Krishna, Krishna Samsara, everybody wants to please Krishna. So this oneness, however, Lord in his personal form still enjoys unlimitedly all the pleasures enjoyed minutely by the tiny part and parcel living entities in the Goloka Vrindavana. It's not that Goloka Vrindavana servants are there, slaves are there, they're serving Krishna and they're unhappy. No. Jivatmas are also enjoying, devotees are enjoying, and Krishna also enjoying. In fact, devotees are enjoying much more than Krishna, Radharani. Therefore, Krishna becomes a devotee to a relish. Because how can sugar understand how much sweet it is? You have to become somebody else to taste the sugar. So the Lord is so sweet, but Lord himself cannot taste his sweetness. So he has to become a devotee to taste it. He becomes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is, we can understand, but Jnanis cannot understand. Impersons cannot understand. Karmis cannot understand. But you can understand because by the blessing of Prabhupada purports, we can understand it. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki, Upasthit Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki. Thank you so much. If anybody has any comments or inputs, any queries, we can ask. Otherwise, already it's 1:49. Hope it's very, very clear, right? Ishopnishat is so meticulously clear by Acharya's mercy. Hare Krishna. So we'll meet tomorrow for seeing that what is that oneness. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmani Grivhastini Suni Chaiva Supakesha Pandita Samadarshinaha. So tomorrow there is Atman Nevanupashyatah and then Ekatvam Anupashyatah. We'll see that tomorrow. And then qualities of Lord as seen by the Mahabhagavad. So we'll finish. Mostly be able to finish the second section tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. We'll end now.